Welcome to the Brian Nhira podcast. My name is Brian Nhira and I am your host. Today I am going to be talking about how I built my following on YouTube. YouTube was really one of the first platforms that I started using back in 2012 when I launched out as an independent artist. It was very important. I think I started with YouTube and Facebook. But I remember I was putting YouTube videos up and they were getting next to no views. And it was a little discouraging at the time because obviously you believe in your talent. You believe that, the world should see your talent. I remember I would be so excited if a video got 100 views. If a video got 1,000 views, it was viral for me. And this is the thing. I think it's very important to understand that, it's important to start small and be faithful in those small beginnings, because ultimately those small beginnings and those small wins, as they begin to stack up, they become what we call success. Our YouTube subscriber count is well over 300,000 now, but it did not start that way. It actually probably took between, 7 to 8 years for us to really see significant growth on YouTube. And YouTube is very important to us because, YouTube, I believe it's like the third biggest online platform on the planet. YouTube is an amazing asset for the artist. And it's actually like a digital library because, bar, them closing down or deleting every video off, it's gonna last for a lifetime, and we're gonna be able to show our kids these videos. And that's the perspective that I have in my mind whenever I'm creating content, for YouTube, whenever I'm creating, music videos, when I'm creating vlogs, whenever I'm creating narrative videos, all these different things that we create, is I'm thinking about, my kids being able to watch these, and this literally being like a video library that my kids are going to be able to go back and look at and be like, oh my gosh, granddad did that. For a long time, a lot of us, we just look at pictures of our grandparents and what they did. But our grandkids and our grandkids' kids are going to be able to watch videos of us. Our grandkids are going to be able to watch the love story that I have with Sonia. They're going to be able to watch me propose to her. They're going to be able to watch Zayden being born, Ezekiel being born, in the process of what that looks like. So start small. It's so important to start small and be faithful in those small beginnings. And the next thing is this: how I built my following on YouTube. Document everything. I literally have 10 years worth of content available on the internet for people to go and look at for about my journey. And a lot of it isn't me doing some elaborate creation or elaborate video. A lot of it is literally me just documenting my process. I can literally go back right now, and I actually did this a couple months back. I watched the documentary of me making my first album. And there's a thing, it wasn't great. It's not great. It's not great, but it's amazing in the fact that like all the feelings that I felt in that moment of starting and creating this album came rushing back to me. And it was so precious because I was able to, revisit why I started this independent artist journey and why I started this content creation journey. So document everything. Your life is the best content creation tool. Like your process and everything that you're doing in life right now, the behind the scenes, the struggle, the practice, all of that stuff is the best content for you to be putting on your YouTube channel, because people absolutely love people's processes, because we're all in a process. And so like when I got out of the mindset that I need to be perfect, my presentation to my audience needs to be perfect. When I got out of that mindset and I was like, no, I'm actually going to show them my process. I'm going to show them the struggle. I'm going to show them like what it looks like to like self-fund everything that we're doing. I'm going to show them that. I'm going to document that. Everything began to change on YouTube for me. The next thing is this, realizing that if I continue producing good content, that good things would happen, right? It's so important because so many people, I referenced this earlier in the video, so many people get discouraged by low view count, right? But you have to come to a place where like you have the understanding that this content is bigger than views. This content is about making an impact in people's life. Because if you're all about the view count, those low view counts will disqualify you. At some point, you will get tired and you will stop creating and you will stop putting stuff on YouTube. And that is the quickest way for stagnation to come in the process of building your YouTube. Okay. And so one of the things that we talk about a lot in Brian Nhira Music is we constantly try and create evergreen content. Now, what is evergreen content? Evergreen content is content that will last longer than 1 month, 1 year. We want our content to still be relevant in the eyes of people in 10 to 15 to 20 years. So all the content that we're making it with the realization that, okay, maybe we won't see this video have 1 million views in 1 or 2 years, but we believe in 5 to 10 years, this video will without a doubt have 1 million views because it's evergreen content. It's content that lasts and stands outside of a single moment. Okay, create evergreen content. That's an incredible way to build your following and your on YouTube. Okay. The next thing is this: viral videos boost the views of every other video. Okay. So that's why it's so important for you to be consistent in your content creation. Okay. Even if they have low views, you got to understand that there may be one video that pops off to such a huge extent that it ultimately creates a trickle effect on every other video. Okay. For me, the first video that I had that changed everything was Would You Still Love Me? Would You Still Love Me was actually came as a partnership with another YouTube channel. We released it on their channel. It went viral, but everybody came back to my page. And so all of the other videos that I had posted years before, like, okay, we had posted a music video from my first album, Back Where You Belong. And in the first year, Back Where You Belong, first 3 years, Back Where You Belong had like 3,000 to 4,000 views. But then because we released Back Where You Belong in 2015, right? And then in 2019 is when we released Would You Still Love Me? That's 4 years later. 4 years later, Back Where You Belong ultimately started going viral too and has well over 1 million views now. Right? But that's because the viral video, Would You Still Love Me viral video, boosted the views of all of the other video content, the other evergreen content that we had put on our page. It benefited from the Would You Still Love Me viral video. Does that make sense to you? All right. So like, there's two things in that. Be consistent in posting evergreen content. And then once that viral video comes along, I promise you, you will see those videos that you posted a while back get more exposure, okay? The next thing is this: comment back. When people comment on your video posts, take time, especially within the first 48 to 72 hours, take time to reply to their comments, because it's a big deal when people comment on your videos. Like, they take the time to say, that was amazing. I absolutely loved that. That helped me. It doesn't take too much effort to be like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you, fam. Take an hour a day just to respond to people's comments and let them know that you're there. And that's the biggest and easiest way to build your YouTube following. When people can see that you engage with them, it will pay dividends as you're building your YouTube following. Okay? Awesome. So I feel like for me, the last thing I wanted to talk about is like, what was the most liked content on my page? I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you're going to see trends on what people like and kind of what they don't like. For me, they love music videos. They love lyric videos. They love vlogs. They love that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But as we began to build our audience, and as our audience began to mature, one of the things that we started doing is trying new forms of content. This podcast is one of the the revelations of that. This podcast is a result of us building up an audience that loves the content that we put out and are now accepting new forms of content that we have. Okay. So I want to encourage you, once you've identified the content that they like, double down on that and then start doing new forms of content. And that's how you can build your YouTube following. Okay. So thank you so much for taking time to listen to this episode of the Brian Nhira podcast. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you like to listen on or watch on.